Yes.
Yay! Take
Welcome,
that,
everyone.
misogynists!
Welcome, everyone, to the premiere of TTRP Girls and happy International Women's Day. We are here celebrating the amazing women and femmes in the TTRPG community, especially those outside the US, like those in Europe, where myself and my cool friend here are. My name is Aida. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a Latina queer woman of color. I have tan skin, dark eyes, dark hair that's behaving, and my shirt says empowered women empower women. I feel empowered and thirsty right now. Who are you, friend?
Hello, I am Michelle. My pronouns are she, her. I am a brown skinned mixed race woman with long straight black hair, a black t shirt, and a cute little hummingbird acrylic necklace, and a big grin on my face because we're here. Yeah!
For the last 10 minutes.
Feierabend.
Oh,
I just learned that word from Marcus in the Euphoria Discord yesterday, the German term for the drink you earn at the end of a hard working week.
there
I
is
think this is
something
it.
for everything in
Mm,
there.
mm, Sure is.
We made it. I love it. This is the best feeling after it's been a week. It's been a month. It's been months.
It's been some months,
It's
yes.
been some months um putting together a month of amazing content.
Mhm.
Michelle, you have seen the scramble, frazzle, the gears behind the
I
machine.
have. It is an extraordinarily huge amount of work that goes into herding all of these lovely kitty cats into
Mhm.
place.
And how do you feel when you go other places and you're the kitty cat?
Oh, I'm like, gosh, I wish everyone was just so efficient and organized as Ida and Darcy over at Euphoria with their perfect no tech gremlins
Oh man,
streams, but their perfect immediate rectifying of any stray gremlins that arrive, of
they got
course.
to be. They have to be.
Yes. Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for what we've got coming up. It's going to be a month of excellent, amazing women, femmes, marginalized gender people all coming together and celebrating girlhood and smashing patriarchy and being awesome.
Yeah. And I mentioned because you and Taylor are new team members to Euphoria.
Yeah.
Darcy and I are the co-founders, and we sort of had this idea about a year to the month where we're like, we need to break out on our own. We've been in the trenches doing the work that you've seen,
Hmm.
um, but we haven't been like in charge or the boss for it. The people we worked with were great; they're fantastic,
Yeah.
but at a certain point, we felt that. mm, for the amount of work we do in the trenches, we need to be out in front when we deserve that. And two, we really wanted to make a very singular mission. There are, there is a thriving TTRPG community here in Europe. The end. In English in the UK and in other languages throughout the continent as well.
100%.
But one thing that I've noticed, and I'm sure Darcy too, who unfortunately the IRL gremlins have tackled them down. I hate that. Get better soon, friend. Please get better
Yeah. Get
soon.
well soon, Darcy. We miss you.
Is that for all these cool communities, companies, publishing houses, very few of them stand out to say, we are in Europe. We are not
Hmm.
in the US. People are just like, we're everywhere. But there's a lot of defaultism to the US. And that's a bit boring and isolating.
Yeah, I think it can be massively, especially like if you're super into actual play content, you want to watch stuff like when it's going out live, but everything's in the wrong time zone for you. There's assumptions that you can get access to certain games and stuff, physical copies of things, to certain events. You know, oh, come and see us at this event. It's in the US. We're never actually going to come over here. It can be frustrating.
Mhm.
How do I find out about the events that are happening near me? How do I get to watch amazing content, TTRPG centered content that's actually happening at a time that suits me?
Yeah.
Um, let's celebrate and showcase that because there are, we're not the only amazing channel doing stuff over on this side of the pond. There are great people doing things, and we've got to shout about that and celebrate that for sure.
Yes. And as we grow and get our foothold here, I hope that we get to there are communities that have always been shouting, right? It didn't just take the dragon sleeping, aka the Polygon article, just to happen. No, no, sir, no. Um, RPG Latam has always been around. RPG SEA, Southeast Asia has always been around. The Desis are a huge community,
Yeah,
right?
massively.
Australia has a massive the Pacific has a massive community. So they've been shouting all this time.
Yeah. And if it takes a polygon article to get people to listen, I mean, honestly, what better motivator is there than spite? Like, thank you, Polygon, for pissing us off, so we can be like, hello, indie creators are doing amazing things. People all over the country, and all over the world, all over every country, are doing amazing things. Like,
Mhm.
if you're not seeing it, that's on you because we're here.
We're here. And you brought up spite. And I feel in TTRPG there's been a lot of room for spite.
Mm,
Um, we do have to acknowledge that TTRPGs or the idea has been around. It's not unique to one culture or language, etc. But biggest the first plant that grew out and got like solidified into a trunk and I made this massive ecosystem was indeed D&D. In the end, of course, got that notoriety, got the popularity. But as much as we laud what a great game, what a great experience, what a great community, and we're like, oh, great, Gary Gygax. But if you don't know, I'm going to read a quote and I'm going to bleep out certain words because I don't want to hear some of those words,
okay.
especially today. Um, Quote Gygax. I have been accused of being a nasty old sexist male chauvinist pig, for the wording in D&D isn't what it should be. There should be more emphasis on the female role, more non-gendered names and so forth. I thought perhaps these folks were right and considered adding women in the beep and pillaging section, in the beep and tavern wenches chapter, and the special magical part dealing with beep and crones. I thought maybe of adding an appendix on medieval harem, beep girls, going Viking. Damn right, I am sexist. It doesn't matter to me if women get paid as much as men, get jobs traditionally male, and shower in the men's locker room. They can jolly well stay away from wargaming in droves for all I care. I've seen many a good wargame and wargamer spoiled, thanks to the fair sex. I'll detail that if anyone wishes.
Hey, Gary, fuck you.
This is going to be a gift later.
You're so givable, I know.
Ah,
Like, literally. Literally. Yeah, Cedric. It's saying in chat, I knew he was bad, but this is beyond what I imagined. Like, just having it laid out in black and
yeah.
white like that.
Mechanically, they couldn't have a high intelligence score or physical strength score. And it's not just D&D. Like he is not uniquely guilty of this, or nor is D&D. There have been other games as well, where there are like there's this Arthurian knight game, where one of the themes of the game is also going around building your legacy. And you got to do that by betting the wenches. And in the winter, when you can't go out calabassing, depending on certain scores, you have to go for a high level one or a low level one, like brooding mares. And technically, you can't also play as a woman without permission from the DM. But then you miss out on all this other thing because,
Yeah. No, it's really hideous, and it's these things that, like, when you grow up, like, socialized as a woman in all of these nerdy spaces, it's like these big neon signs outside saying not for you. This
mhm.
is not for you, and here's all of the horrible crap we've put in the game to signal you are not welcome here, you're not wanted here, this is not for you. Um
Ha ha ha
and
ha
yet
ha 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 ha.
and
We
yet
have infiltrated.
we are here. We are here to ruin your
we've,
stupid game, Gary, if
we've
that's how you want to make it.
been here.
Yeah,
They've
yeah.
been there. They've been women and femme people have been playing imaginary games with mechanics. They have been writing, they have been drawing, they have been marketing, they have been promoting, they've been engineering, they've been designing, they've been adding professional talents to them for decades. And they will continue to do so, especially in the TTRPG community.
100%.
Uh,
Because
I need
again,
to wash my mouth out.
It's the spite, you know? Look, you put your neon sign up saying not for you. I'll say, "Oh, well, I'll find a way to make it for me then, buddy boy."
Oh, and
It's
and
go on.
it really has been like there's been in the last couple of years this explosion of really prominent, talented women and female characters in video games that are very TTRPG adjacent. For example, when
Mhm.
Baldur's Gate came out, uh, yes, we ooh about certain male characters, but there is like universally ooh woos and blushies for a lot of female characters in there who are strong, nuanced, troubled, very layered characters.
Mhm. 100%. I think it goes hand in hand with, like, yes, including women in the space, yes, including, like, queer perspectives in a space, you know? You're looking at some of these Baldur's Gate girlies, and you're like, "Hell yeah, I'm gay." And that's I think, again, it's the kind of people that, like, that old guard, that horrible old guard don't wanna see, don't wanna acknowledge in their games. Like, everyone's a tough heterosexual man, and it's like, "No, we're here and like we want to play imaginary games with you too and imagine worlds, better, more exciting worlds, more liberated worlds
Mhm.
in this space. Because if you can imagine it, you can make it happen.
We are making it happen, and I'm not going to go in where and how parts of the world are burning, but
Mhm.
imagining those better worlds in its own way is also a means of taking back control and fighting back.
Yeah.
Concrete or not, what is it actually changing? Different discussion. But the act of creating, imagining, and emboldening yourself, or even finding refuge from that, is are in and themselves acts of rebellion.
Yeah. 100%. Like, you know, as an artist, as a creator, like if you can see it, you can be it. If you're creating a world in which something can exist, others can see it and others can begin to conceptualize that better world. You know, it's not the be all and end all of resistance, but it's a
Mhm.
part of resistance 100% to be
Yeah.
able to say, I can imagine this better. So let's do it. I can imagine this TTRPG scene full of cool femmes and marginalized genders and them being welcomed and accepted and loved and celebrated. So let's make it happen.
That was a one of the big reasons why I was like, "Oh, thank God we know a Michelle, and Michelle is actually wanting to do this." Is Michelle okay? I don't know if she really wants to do this because we're going to throw her through the ringer. But when Darcy and I were like, "We need more people. We want more people," we're like, no discussion. It was just like our brain cells fused for a second and went really back and forth. Like the next people that need to be at the decision making table also need to be women of color. The
Yeah.
end.
Mhm, mhm.
Because I I'm not always super fond of being in the front. It's for me, it's like exhausting. I'll do it. I have a switch, I can turn it on and off, but it's like, oh, okay, here we go. I love some days I love it, but a lot of the times I'm like, I'd rather be in the back in the trenches. That's my happy place.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I didn't see many people in the lead that looked like me or had my experiences as a woman of color, as a queer woman of color, as an immigrant woman of color, based outside the US. And it's like, well, the more people in these similar life experience circles that we can inspire to come to the front, the less Ida has to be in the front.
So the truth come out.
Now I have a Michelle, I have a Taylor, who is also an amazing, talented person that we're like, is Taylor okay? Why would anyone agree to this? Because have you seen the amount of work? Are you our saints?
Because it's work that, like, is in service of something that's really important and I believe in.
Mhm.
Like, you are right. Like, I'm not in any way diminishing the presence of, like, incredibly talented people of color and women of color in the space. Absolutely, we are here. But it's absolutely true that the spotlight, while it's gradually beginning to be shone on us, like, it takes us grabbing it and being like, "Hello," to
Mhm.
really, really make it. Like, it is harder work. We do have to push ourselves to the front sometimes, even if we're people who don't necessarily want to be out the front saying, "Hi, it's me, look at me." Sometimes if I am one of those people. Look at me. Hey.
You're
But,
so
you know,
cute.
it's super valid to not want to always be shouting, "Look at me," but feeling like I have to because I have to take up space in this
Mhm.
scene. I have to in order to make it okay for people like me to exist in this scene. I want to, be on that front line, and I the only way I have to be a pioneer because without a pioneer starting it, then other people aren't going to feel safe coming into the space. So I really respect it. I respect what you do, saying I don't necessarily love to always be the face of things, but I will
Mhm.
be. I
I
will be if
agree.
it shows others like, hi, this is a place where you're safe to come to.
I'm such a fan of spending time to uplift in my own way. Like, you want to do an AP? I'm going to do my best to make gorgeous overlays for you, production, and you want the pretty thing. I will elevate your craft, and I'm the person happiest uh, wrenching the elevator manually up.
You do. You really are. Like a deep lore for chat here. My very first time doing an AP, I'd produced it. And then
Holy moly,
you
yeah.
yeah, and then you got in touch with me on Discord later and were like, "Hey, I'm doing something else. Are you interested?" And that was how I started doing APs, because you saw a woman of color doing it and you didn't just do a great job, like, supporting me that one time, you also kept in touch and continued. So, yeah, of course I wanted to work with you when we did this channel because, like, you've been doing this for years, just quietly elevating, like, people like us into this space. Yeah,
Was that
little Ida appreciation moment there. She's
was
been
it
doing
Orbital
this.
Blues, another women in gaming?
It was before that even. It was before that. It was a Roll for Good, I think.
Holy moly,
Yeah,
that
a
is a lifetime ago.
Halloween I think it was a
You're
Halloween Roll for
right.
Good. Mhm.
Oh yeah, I produced that whole thing.
Yes, you sure did. You sure did.
Never again. Never again 12-hour plus shifts.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. But
Mhm,
when it comes to and another big reason why Darcy and I really appreciate having this sort of shared perspective, it's not that we're never going to have um, people who are not POC or of a racialized community. It's not that we're ever not going to have non-queer people. We have those friends and allies that eventually we're going to in the future. Who knows? But the shared perspective is that people like us are we're held to higher standards
mhm.
without it being told to us explicitly.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so there's this unspoken language of needing to rise up higher and just doing it, even if it sometimes mean masking, even if it sometimes mean delegating to other places, um, because we or people like us have the experience of being talked over or talked down to. We're really good communicators. We're really
Yeah.
good organizers. We're really good. If I ask for help, I'm going to be ridiculed. I'll just figure it out myself.
Mhm. Yeah, 100%. And we end up being in this position where, like, if I'm the only visible person like me doing this work, then I become the representative of whether people like me can do this
Hmm.
work completely unfairly. If there's 20 men in a room doing the work and 5 of them do a crap job, no one thinks that means men can't do it because they've also seen 15 who can. But if there's one of me representing women, women of color, neurodivergent women, disabled women, queer women, and I do a bad job, then any one of those things about me which make me different could be consciously or unconsciously blamed. So there's external pressure and also internal pressure to be like, damn, I've got to be the best. I've got
Hmm.
to be so good because I'm holding the weight of every other person like me that I'm unfairly being pushed to represent in this moment.
I see you absolutely. And when we're in a room of people like that, there's this release. We know we don't have to, Darcy's words, lower our own shine
Oh,
so other people can shine.
yes.
I love that. I love that. Thank you, chat, for agreeing with us, for seeing yourselves in that. Taylor
Yeah.
does shout out Amanda Hammond, the first female lead game designer at Wizards of the Coast. They're at the lead at humongous companies, not just at Wizards, but also at Paizo and also companies across Europe,
Mhm.
non-binary femme people as well in lead, trans women in lead projects as well in companies off the top of my head, one, two lead projects.
Mhm.
And
100%.
Cedric also says if there's a whole room of women of color and one does a substandard job, yeah, typically that's where the magnifying glass is.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Um, and it's, it it in a weird way, it pushes us to be great, but at what cost? Sometimes I would like to just be okay at something and not worry that I was like, demonstrating that people like me are only okay.
Yeah,
And that can be a lot of pressure. Probably sometimes I put too much pressure on myself for that reason, but it's not for no reason. It's not
that
for nothing.
absolutely. And that's why at Euphoria we really put the onus on having diverse tables to a standard that if we cannot, then the show's not happening, or
Yeah.
there's a really big likelihood that show being pulled. We will not cast all white tables. We will not
Mm, mm,
cast
mm, mm,
all
mm.
uh, cis male tables.
Mm, mm, mm,
We're not
mm,
going to
mm.
do it. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
No. No. Do you know why? Like, it's partly because that sucks to be, like, in that space of being the only one, or, like, seeing tables where you're just not represented. But more so than that, like, honestly, we all have limited time on this earth. Who wants to watch another actual play where they're all people who are all basically of the same identity and have the same life experiences?
Oh
Not
my God!
me.
Did you hear about that other production with the all white men
Finally, the stories of all white men and nobody else would be
and
told.
the other one of with the all white table and the other one of the all white table?
Oh,
Oh, that
right.
other really big one with the big conference with the all white table.
It's just embarrassing, y'all. It's embarrassing at this point. And look, I know some lovely white men. This is not about not thinking white men can be terrific actual play performers, because God knows there are some brilliant ones. But the point is, if all you're seeing is that, you're missing all the other brilliant people.
Mhm.
And that's not good enough. It's not good enough.
Especially also being in Europe. I'm originally from the US. I've been
Mhm.
outside of the US for 15 years now. More. I've been in one place for 15 years. Before that, I've been bouncing around. Long story. But there's this huge perception, even within Europe, that when you think of Europeans, they're all Caucasian white people.
Yes.
Um, hello.
1000%. I'm like an actor as my day job, and a lot of castings, they will specify race, which often is completely reasonable if the story requires like a person to look a certain way for the story to make sense. They're casting like a play or a film. But an interesting thing I've noticed is a lot of times like casting directors are almost like afraid to say white. They're like, they don't want to say we want a white woman. They'll be like, we want somebody of a European look. We want a European looking woman. And I'm like, I'm European and I look like this. So I will submit myself and I will waste your time because you know what? Just say what you actually mean. Like don't make it worse by saying, "Oh, European. European people are white, right? We all know that's what that means."
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Mm-mm,
We
mm-mm,
have
mm-mm.
amazing European friends in our cast, like Cash, who is a biracial woman from Germany, who
Oh, hello,
has like
Cash. I see you in chat.
who
Hello.
has always like I am jealous of anyone with gorgeous texture in her hair in their hair. And look at Cash, I'm just like, you woke up like that, didn't you? She probably didn't, but I look at him just like I wish. Uh
You have the energy of somebody who woke up like that, Cash, 100%.
yeah,
Beautiful.
our friend Cedric, who
Mhm,
is also biracial, Asian, East Asian, and lives in Sweden.
mhm.
I'm like, you're European.
Yeah, Cedric's saying right now, Swedes will say I'm Swedish and what they mean is I'm white. Yeah. And it's like, okay, you can be Swedish and not be white.
Our friend Francita, I believe, is from Venezuela, who lives in Europe.
Hi, Francita.
You're living in Europe for many years. You're a resident of Europe. You tend to also absorb European values. You're paying taxes. You contribute. You jumped through burning hoops of visas,
Mm,
and you were contributing to society here, to Europe, and also our ancestors did through colonialization. We don't have they lost the receipts for that apparently, but also someone in Europe.
mm.
So pardon,
Yeah.
from Chile. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm
you're
get
from Chile.
apologies. So Francita's from Chile. I have some other friends from Venezuela who are also
Mhm.
in our circles, which I'm so happy to get to know Latin people who are based in Europe because, oof, it's a struggle of us to find them, but they're around.
And you're going to collect them all like little Pokemon. My friends, come to me.
Yes, yes. And I'm happy that such amazing people are going to be in TTRP Girls
Hell
this month. We made it. We segued.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the incredible, like, just, oh my God, the people that have come to us. And so many new
There were
people.
so many, and we had to say no to so many people, and that
I
never feels
know.
good.
I know. I was really not prepared for how difficult those conversations would be, where we just went, oh, so who here has applied who's great? It's like, oh, all of them? All of them are great. Oh,
Hmm.
there's 5 times as many applications or something than there actually are spaces. Oh.
Yeah.
Like, while I am so thrilled for for all of the lovely people we're gonna have, but it was also so difficult. It was so hard.
It was especially hard not to say, what if we just added more games?
What if we just did a bunch more games? We have, we're all fine. We're all completely immortal and no one ever gets sick short notice. Right? That'd be fine.
For context, I've been sick the last 3 days, like bedridden sick, but I was like, I'm going to time where one medicine ends and the other begins. So I'm in that like high loop. Okay, we're going to session 0 and tech check. Go.
Oh my gosh. And then, of course, lovely Darcy
Oh my
yesterday is like, "Oh,
goodness.
Ida, we so hope you're better so you can be on the stream tomorrow." And you're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get better." And then, of course, we get a message from Darcy saying now they're poorly. Ugh, timing.
But last year, this is the first year we are celebrating International Women's Month and International Women's History Month on EUphoria. EUphoria is a baby channel under the
Ah,
2 year limit for nomination, for example, for Crit Awards. But
oh,
Darcy and I had celebrated in other ways on different channels, and the two of us doing it together. I think last year we had like a third more content between just the two of us organizing and producing and cat
mhm.
herding and all and everything.
I don't know how you two did that.
That was close to unhealthy.
Yeah.
We pushed the limit. We found out where the superhero powers peak at, what the kryptonite is.
Mhm.
I had the experience of my audio breaking, where I had so many tabs open, and I misaligned the scheduling that I was doing like a live broadcast on one ear, literally, and a session 0 tech check in another ear. Like the audio had
No.
thankfully split, so I somehow did both. That's not the
No.
experience I go for. People don't deserve that either, even though I did
Mm-mm.
my best. And to them, they're like, oh, Ida's a bit hurried sounding, but that's about it.
Mhm, mhm.
We tried to be more responsible this year with our current team. That also means next year we could do something similar, smaller. I always aim for bigger, but depends on capacity.
Mm. Yeah.
TTRP girls are also responsible to their own well-being, mental well-being, physical well-being. TTRP girls know how to prioritize. Unfortunately, have to say no sometimes, but also means that TTRP girls are ready and have lots of dreams in their pockets.
Absolutely. And a year's a long time
Hello? Oh
for
my goodness.
Euphoria. I haven't even been going yet. Who knows?
No. Who knows? It would be nice if we were like award-winning TTRP girls event or award-winning Euphoria, which we are for now for Cusco Web Fest. Yay!
Yeah, especially super congrats again to player and producer Ida.
Oh yeah, that was me.
Yeah, and GM award-winning GM Marcus
Yes,
and your
of Mark.
incredible cast
Of
of
Krifu
Krifu,
and
Toto, and
Toto
Jen.
and Jen.
Yes.
We are all based in Europe, and we are all immigrants.
Yeah.
And Toto is a first generation.
And you are all award-winning, baby. And yeah, I mean, who knows? The award season is very, very long in TTRPG world.
That's
So
so weird. But we
yeah.
might. Who knows if we're going to get some like. These games are all gems.
Mhm,
Maybe one of them is going to outshine everything else, not on our channel, but in other places.
mhm, mhm.
So let's talk about some of those
Yes.
events. So
Let's.
we're going to go through the events we have for this month. They are all posted on our social media channels. They will be posted all very soon in our Discord. They are all going to be streaming at 7 p.m. GMT, 8 p.m. Central European time, because we're in Europe, most of us in Europe, the community is central around Europe, and it was important that they're accessible to that community. They're not at 8 p.m. Eastern time US, which is 2 a.m., 1 a.m. They're not on West Coast time. I don't know who watches Critical Role live in Europe. Um, very, very, very dear fans do, but the normals don't.
No, we don't want to do that to you. No,
No,
that's not
no,
needed.
no. But the talent, the shine is so bright here. So we're here. We're the first. Yay! Look us
It's
shining.
us.
Yay!
So shiny.
Tomorrow we're going to be shining super hard with an interview. So we're going to have several interviews throughout the month. These are pre-recorded interviews that we got with some titans of the industry, with people who have amazing perspectives and whose words absolutely need to be heard, and that also uplift the people who are here based in Europe. So tomorrow we're going to start off that series with Kim Richards from High Rollers D&D, interviewed by our partner in crime and 2024 emerging TTRPG designer Diana Jones award-winning friend Taylor Navarro.
Hmm. I'm so looking forward. It's pre-recorded, but I haven't seen it personally. I'm so looking forward to seeing it. It's gonna be so good.
It is a wonderful chat. Um, these are both people. These are both non-white women, and they brought in their own experiences, what it means to be in the world, being POC in Europe, and what that means and how they bring these nuances to their characters. Kim does especially as well, where you see these sort of characteristic aspects bleed into the characters that she's played in these very long and very famous high roller campaigns.
And Taylor says, "Best interview of my life." Love
Oh,
that for you, Taylor.
oh, friend, I hope there's going to be like even better ones.
Yeah,
They're going to be
so far, best of your life so far.
that I mean to say, like really so far.
Yeah.
So hang around tomorrow. So if you're watching in the future, that's going to air Sunday, March 9th. And all the VODs will be on immediately the day after on YouTube, which are
Mhm.
all on youtube.com/, ampersand, not ampersand, sorry, at EUphoria AP. All links will be posted below and all on our socials.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us what's coming up for the next week, Michelle? Do you have the schedule in front of you?
Oh, why don't I? Why don't I skim through my far too many tabs? I think that first up we have our of the games. We have our three-parter, don't we? We have a so exciting three-parter of Monster Hearts 2. Monster Hearts was created by Avery Alder, who also made Quiet Year and other incredible games. It is a game about being an angsty teen and about feeling monstrous and being monstrous and dealing with being monstrous teens and the body and the mind changing in ways that you can't quite control or expect. How exciting. What an exciting concept to apply like a queer femme lens to, and that's what we're going to have. The incredible Helena is going to be GMing for us, and do I have the cast list because I don't want to miss anybody out at all. Bear with me. We have announced the cast for this, so you will get to see Magnolia, Flavia, Miranda, and Assis playing, and it's going to be everything. I'm so excited to
Mm-hmm.
see what they do. They've had their session 0 already, which I know you just about managed to make it through. I know you were poorly, but you did it.
It was worth like being the fly on the wall to listen in about the discussion to have. And Monster Hearts is can be one of those heavier games in terms of themes.
Mhm.
This is indeed the right table to do that.
Yeah.
This is indeed the right GM to do that.
Mhm.
Having met them, having now like gone through that session, I have no doubt about it. This story is going to be done with nuance. It's going to be done with a lot of angst, and I think we're going to have need a lot of popcorn and tissues.
I'm so excited. And of course, always, as our channel, we do have content warnings. We have preemptive ones for ones we expect to come up, And when it comes to the VODs, if anything else came up in improvisational land we weren't expecting, then they will be kept up to date. So heavier subject matter. We keep yourself safe, but I think it's going to be a really, really wonderful story with wonderful people. I'm really excited because after the session 0, the Discord channel for planning had a diagram pop in by one of the players, Miranda, of all of the relationships between all of the player characters, and I was already so excited. I think I'm going to post that on Patreon for all of you lovely supporters, so you can see all of the planning work that's going into this already. It's so exciting.
And let's see. So that's going to be Thursdays. That's going to be a 3-part game. All the other games will be one-shots on
Mm-hmm.
our channel for the month, but Monster Hearts will go on for 3 episodes. So that'll be Thursday, March 19th, Thursday, 20th March, and Thursday, 27th March, all at 7 p.m. GMT, 8 p.m. CET. We have a one-shot coming the day after on March 14th, and that is a game of Savage Worlds,
Yes.
where Savage Worlds for me is like, I didn't know much about in the beginning what Savage Worlds was as a system, but basically whenever I read something on Reddit, the D&D subreddits,
Mm-hmm.
whenever someone wanted to do something complicated in D&D, they're like, "Oh my god, just play Savage Worlds." I'm like,
Yes.
that's just Savage Worlds. You're just describing Savage Worlds. That's Savage Worlds.
100%.
So this is going to be sort of a beginning adventure. They're going to be going through a wizard's tower and helping out someone who is losing the memory. So it's going to be a bit of a journey to help that person and going to be touching on what memory means to people, as well as the usual tropes of, going through the wizard's tower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is actually a module created by Emma, who is GMing the game. So I'm so excited for her to showcase like her own creation um, with this game with 3 fantastic players. Who I think the cast announcement has not actually gone out yet, but maybe I'll cheekily post it after this stream.
Maybe we're
So
going to
get
be
hype.
doing that. Yes. Oh, you know what? You need to talk about who we are interviewing on Sunday, March 16th.
Oh my gosh, yes, I need to talk about this because on Sunday, March 16th, again, all of the streams are going out 7 p.m. GMT, 8 p.m. CET. It's my turn to do an interview, my first interview for the channel. I'm so excited. And I had the pleasure of interviewing the incredible Dr. Ro Chung, who is an academic who studies gendered violence in early modern theatre and who is also a longtime, very, very passionate LARPer. And they're also my very good friends. So we had a lovely chat. We talked about role playing as an avenue into exploring one's identity, into exploring gender politics, into exploring the politics of being a person of color in a mostly white scene. We talked about all of the kind of difficult baggage which comes with growing into a scene and learning who you are and changing who you are throughout it. We also learn about the joy of discovering the people who are your people to play with. And we talked about the nuances of role playing in a TTRPG setting versus a LARP setting and the ways in which it's similar, the ways in which it's different. It's honestly so exciting. And it got me excited to have a go at LARPing just talking to them. So I can't wait for you to see that interview. I'm very excited that they joined us for that.
I love it. I love it when academics talk about their nerd love and they
Yes,
combine the two worlds. And I feel richer and smarter for having listened to it.
100%.
And I really hope that I get to hear more about Rose They Them's opinions on more TTRPG related things as well. And also, I gotta stretch out my baby limbs into LARPing one of these days. Who knows?
Yeah,
Who
I'd love that.
knows? I'm just a baby.
Just a little baby.
Here's a little baby. So that's coming up next week already
Mm-hmm.
on TTRP Girls for the month of March. For the third week of March, we have 3 other streams. The second episode of Monster Hearts streaming on Thursday. On Friday, we have a one shot of The Cunning Folk. Of The
Yes.
Cunning Folk, which is a game where we haven't had the session 0 yet, but remembering what was being read about, remember what I read about the wonderful pictures, like, of course, this game has to go in.
Mm-hmm.
So there are lots of legends and stories about you have to do this or you'll piss off a fey creature. If you don't leave a bowl of milk, then you'll upset the local cryptid or something like that. Something happened. That fae, that cryptic, got upset. You stepped on a flower you shouldn't have. You kicked over a mushroom you shouldn't have. You were an asshole to that nice person that they were kind with. It's time for them to get revenge on the person that did them wrong. The players are those fae,
Yes.
and they're going to get back in the most conniving and evil of ways that only fae can somehow conjure up. That's the cunning folk. That's going to be the cunning folk.
I'm so excited for this one. It's created by Emily Graymore, who's a fantastic British Iraqi TTRPG designer. She's lovely. We've got a fantastic international cast for this one, and already cast members have been talking about drawing on Fae myth and legend from their own countries and their own cultures. So it's going to be a fantastic, I think, celebration of like Fae legends from across Europe. So excited.
I'm all about the spite. I like it when games are about spite.
We love the spite.
Darcy and I, unfortunately or fortunately, are fueled by spite more often than not.
Whatever it takes, whatever it takes. Ida, you definitely need to tell us about the next interview, I think.
Yes, the next interview will be Sunday, 22nd March. That's will be the third and the last one for the month. I had the opportunity to sit down with Lissa from the podcast Slovenly Trolls. Slovenly Trolls is a feminist take on TTRPGs, more specifically D&D. And I think it would be really interesting if people were to watch this interview with the alcohol of your choice and take a shot every time we say fuck Gary Gygax.
maybe do it with orange juice or water just to stay safe, or
Maybe.
unless you're a heavyweight, unless you can take it, unless you're tough. In which case, go for it.
Hydrate responsibly. But that is going to be the main crux of our discussion. We sort of had a good, like, joint, little bit of a rage session of, yeah, the patriarchy, sexism is and has been codified in TTRPGs early get-go. Here's the proof. And we mentioned Gygax, we mentioned in more detail that other game. I mentioned the spaces, the stereotypes, the ideologies. But we also had moments, important moments of hope. And we laid out why the space is made better, even for those cishet white men who don't believe in the betterment and in diversity. Why the space is even made better for people like them by the presence of women, femmes, people of color, people with diverse perspectives. The space is made better when every story is not just Lord of the Rings light. Oh, look, another medieval feudal European setting. Oh, look, another Viking setting. Oh, look, samurai.
Groundbreaking.
I mean, I think the TTRPG storytelling world is better if, could I interest you in a game about La Llorona, the crying, screaming woman from Latam horror stories? Can
Please.
I interest you in the cryptids and the witches from sub-Saharan Africa? I remember reading a lot of these stories when I was a teenager. Can I interest you in Slavic stories? Can I interest you in Southeast Asian mythology? Our worlds are improved and widened when we have these perspectives of representation at the table. So you're welcome. And fuck Gary Gygax.
Yeah, can't wait for more of that energy when we stream your interview with Lissa. Lissa's so knowledgeable, and I just know and also so fun and lovely. I know you two are going to be having such a hilarious conversation. I can't wait. And an informative and educational one. I'm excited. Okay, should we go on to our final week of TTRP Girls? We have one last one shot for you. Just to mix things up, this one's going to be on a Tuesday. It is going out on Tuesday, the 25th of March. We started the stream by talking about TTRPGs and their power to like help us imagine better worlds. And I think this game, it's going to be a one shot of Why We Fight from Stop, Drop, and Roll Games, and from Stop, Drop, and Roll Games is coming to join us on the channel and not run the game. It's a GM-less game, in fact, but to facilitate and lead our other players through a playthrough of a one-shot of this game. This is a game about building a better future. It is called Why We Fight. It is solar punk. It is hopeful. It is about pushing back against fascism and the things that want to destroy this planet and making something newer and better. I just can't wait to have our final one shot be that story of hope and resistance. It just feels so perfect.
When you think about how, as a world, we got to a place where solar punk needs to be a thing, and
Mm,
how we just kind of go full stream into that, I love it.
yeah,
We need it. I'm sorry that we needed it, but thank God it's there.
yeah, 100%. It's a
That,
shame we need it, but if we need it, I'm so glad someone's making it there for us.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I can't wait to see that one shot. I'm really excited for that idea of a game.
Me too.
I think that is
Yeah.
super cool. I believe all of our games are created, like designed by, yeah, they're all created and designed by women.
Yeah. Yeah,
Monster
yeah, you know.
Hearts, Actually, no, I don't know about Savage Worlds. Cunning Folk for sure.
Oh,
Why We Fight, yes.
mhm.
Um,
I
other
don't know
ha-
what Avery Alder's pronouns are actually, but they are of a marginalized gender.
yes,
And Savage Worlds, I don't know, but at the very least, Emma has written this particular module they're playing. So we all have
yes.
a lot of rep in like game design side as well as the games that we're actually playing, which is super exciting.
Happy about that. Most of these games are also not from US based creators. Aver Adler is from Canada.
Hmm.
Cunning Focus, of course, from based in the UK, is that creator as well. Why We Fight is also based in here in Europe, so we're really excited about
Yeah.
that. We're going to have the finale, most likely the emotionally wrenching finale of Monster Hearts that week as well.
Hmm.
On Friday, the 28th, some people from Euphoria are going to be on stream because let's see where the health gremlins attack. But some people will
Yeah.
be on stream.
We've learned not to say who yet, but some of us
Some of us will
will
be on
be.
stream. And we're going to bring back the popular, we need a better name, but your TTRPGs we love by European creatives.
Mhm. Rolls right off the tongue.
Yes, I know, man. We've done several of these before. We just kind of spend an hour and we just like highlight and we show on screen. These are some games by European based creatives that we are loving in this moment. You should check out, you should support, you should consider, you should play. Um, However, for that one, they're all going to be exclusively women or femme identifying people who are based in Europe. TTRPGs. With the caveat, it's unspoken, but I'll speak it now. We really do try to avoid a bit D&D modules or just content specifically for D&D.
Mhm.
Um, it's not that D&D is bad or anything. I'm a big fan of D&D. I've played it for many years, happily so. But the idea is to shine on new ideas that don't get a lot of time to shine. D&D is great, but does take up a lot of air in the room. This
Mhm.
is about providing that air and that spotlight to games that normally don't have that attention. So, and we're going to mention it on socials. But if you're here seeing this now, watching this now, before March 28th, find us on socials or email us. All our contact details are in our socials. If you are a woman, if you are a femme identifying person based in Europe, all of Europe, from Iceland to UK to the Caucasus, I count like this really wide
Mhm.
swath of Europe as far as one can reasonably stretch. I go far. The stands, I don't care, put it in there. You have a TTRPG out? We want to hear about it. And we're going to select those that we can. We've also limited amount of time and limited air and lung capacity, and we're going to talk about that on stream on March 28th, Friday.
Yeah. So that will be the closing stream of
Mm-hmm.
TTRP Girls. There is one little sneaky extra
Sneaky.
game on our schedule sneaking in there. Um, this is going to be a game we haven't recorded it yet, so
We just got the date in.
we just got the date in, so we're gonna record it. I'm so excited for this. Our very own Taylor is going to be leading myself, Ida, and Darcy in a little extra one shot of Never Stop Blowing Up. We will be playing Taylor's Devils, kick ass super spies tasked with disrupting an evil misogynistic scheme by infiltrating a fancy party and causing chaos. I am so excited for this very silly time we're going to have. And we will be posting that exclusively on Patreon for our
Mm-hmm.
Patreon supporters as a little thank you. Because those of you who support us on Patreon, whether that's monthly donations or just as and when you can, any amount at all, are helping to fund the overheads of running this channel and allowing us to do TTRPGirls, to do Euphoria. So that's a little thank you. If you're not in a position to sign up as a regular supporter, we'll also make it available to purchase as a one-time purchase, and you can just download it and watch it. And we'll try and make that as affordable as we possibly can, so that if you're not in a position to sign up for a regular donation, any amount of support will still get you that access to that video. I'm so excited for this one, and it's just a little cheeky extra game we're doing to celebrate the four of us TTRP girls getting to the end of this month, which is going to be a bumper, super long month, but one so worth doing.
Uh,
So worth doing.
March feels evil after such a short month like February.
I know.
I believe this is also Taylor's first GMing, like being in the GM seat as a GM.
No,
Um,
I didn't know
AP
that.
AP Game Public.
I
Think
didn't
a
know
little
that,
birdie
Taylor.
said that.
I'm so excited.
So
Taylor, you fool! You've let three of the most chaotic AP performers on this green earth be your first players for your first
ooh,
AP GMing. Have
ooh,
fun.
it's gonna be great.
It's
And
gonna be
like
great.
Michelle said, we are appreciative to everyone that supports in any capacity. Supporting means being in this Twitch channel, in this Twitch chat, lurking, subscribing to any of us on our socials, being in our Discord channel, even just going through all the familiar photos and pressing the boop emoji. That is genuine support as well. But like Michelle said, that little did we know that unfortunately it does take money to elevate as much as we want to.
Mhm.
Uh, it does take money, for example, to get into some web fest. There are fees. It
Yeah.
does take money eventually to pay for graphics, pay for sound effects, pay for hosting, pay for this and that. It means the world that we don't have to pay out of pocket.
Yeah.
That means already the world to us. We hope to be in a position one day where we can reliably pay, not just ourselves, because we're not reliably paid at all, if period, but are people who also contribute their time and their energy as well. We hope to be getting to the place to that soon. But already the amount of support we have is really, it means a lot. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. I know pennies are hard this time. I know the price of eggs is not what it should be, but thank you so much.
Yeah, if you're supporting is hitting that follow button on all of our social medias and sending a little emoji in chat and lurking, then that's incredible support and it
Yeah.
makes us so happy. Absolutely get into the Discord if you're not already, by the way, because that Familiars channel, there is nothing to lighten my mood than going into that channel and seeing everyone's adorable animal pictures and hitting that boop emoji on every single one.
Uh,
It's so good.
your baby snoots just like help me feel better when I look at them. Like, oh, I see a snoot. Boop.
Gotta boop that snoot.
But the
Yeah.
snoots are like this long.
They are very, very long dogs. I love my babies, and there's a lot of pictures of them in that channel. So
It,
if
it's
that's not convincing enough.
it's very appreciated.
Mhm.
Um, you know what? Just for funsies, you may for those of you that may not be in the know. So on all of our overlays, we also put little like logos of all the social media channels we're on, and there's this one little spray circle that looks a little different. I gather that most people aren't familiar with what that logo means. So if you look at the lower left corner, am I pointing the right direction? Yes, I am this time. No, this was a little like whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, like right below that TikTok logo. You might not be familiar with it. Most aren't. That's okay. You're gonna get to know it. That's a platform called Moonbeam. Moonbeam is a relatively new channel. Maybe you've heard about it, and it purports to be a streaming and chatting and connecting platform. And I think what's most interesting about it is not just that it could in the future be another way of gaining not just financial support, but that for now it is a viable alternative. Well, again, without getting into detail about the burning world, we recognize that a lot of places, um, unfortunately, are marred by politics. It does mean something that we are all talking to each other on Twitch, which is owned by Amazon, and they have Bezos has not been very kind or has been supporting the wrong things. Enough on that topic. We are on Instagram, Meta. I don't need to go further than that, right? We are using Google Docs, Google Sheets, Alphabet Core, ABC Core has also not been putting, not been doing right things. I mean, Gulf of bleh, barf. Enough said. Moonbeam is going to be at least an alternative where they've demonstrated, where the leadership has demonstrated that they do really care about moderation. Where we, as the owners of a server, I'll save the terminology for later, um, can control the kind of environment we want with stringent rules and applicate enforcement of that rules. So it's not going to be like Instagram where saying transphobic thing doesn't break TOS anymore. That's not going to be the case on places like Moonbeam, for example. So for now, we are going to slowly be streaming, rerunning in essence, existing content from Euphoria. Nothing for the short term, even long term, is going to happen to our content here on Twitch and on YouTube, on Blue Sky or Instagram. But if you're also looking for alternatives, hopefully Moonbeam will be one of those alternatives. And you have choices. You're welcome to not make that choice, but variety is nice.
Yeah, I second it. Why not check out Moonbeam? It's something new. They're doing something new, and I think that's always worth giving a chance. I'm excited. I'm excited to adopt it and start showing some of our rerunning to start off with as we sort of just find our footing and learn a new system. But what a time to get involved. I love it.
And for sure, our Patreon members are going to have access to, we have invitation codes because right now it's by invitation only, or other means to buy your realms in. Our Discord family is probably going to get second dibs. People we know and love, people who are active and want to be part of a community, want to contribute to making that community, because we want to see that diverse European representation everywhere we go. We want them to be people that we know are good, kind, compassionate people who share our values, who support marginalized genders, people of color, and other racialized peoples, who are queer AF or really kind, good, active allies, who are compassionate and knowledgeable about people's well being, safety, especially if they are neurodivergent or disabled. We want those perspectives to be in as many communities as possible. So we're going to do our best to help some of those people join us to the moon.
Come with us to the moon. We'll start a new world.
That was Euphoria.
Yeah.
That was legitimately Euphoria. I think a million years ago, I was in a meeting of pitching to someone to join another community, actually. And I said that a lot of channels in that we're all connected with, you know, they're like bottle rockets and they're competing to see how high they can get. Some people have actually, instead of bottle rockets, they've made drones and they fly really hard. Some communities might actually be welding a amateur spaceship together. And that's pretty cool. I recognize that we don't have engineers and pilots and buckets of fuel to actually get that up. But welding the space rocket's already a start and dreams bigger than the bottle rocket. But the bottle rocket is still legitimate. I mean, I'm not trashing that bottle rocket. That being said, Darcy and I were convinced that we have what it takes not just to weld that rocket, but to assemble a team that is going to pilot, engineer, literally rocket science, and fuel us to the moon. That's why there's a little spaceship in our logo.
Yeah, that's our little spaceship.
That's our little spaceship.
You're absolutely right, chat. It's full of puns. So so climb aboard. You'll certainly be entertained on the journey to the moon.
It's full of puns.
It's so full of puns.
I will also say, as much as I groan and about the puns, our community is primarily a European community. It is made for Europeans. It is made for people not in the US. Yes, we have Americans there, of course, that's fine. Um, a lot of us, a lot of people in there, English is not their native language. It's not even their second language. They're all punning in there.
Oh yeah. It's so impressive. Like, is there anything more impressive than being able to pun in your third language? We got folks who can do that, and I love how frequently there's just little cultural exchange moment happening in that Discord. People saying, "Oh, our word for this thing is this. We have a term which is this," and people start making connections and saying, "Oh, we call it that. We call it something else. Here's what we eat on this holiday." I love it. If anything, it's planning all my travels when I have money. But in the meantime, I can live vicariously through seeing what all of the wonderful things that people are teaching me about in the European community we've built. I love it. We're gonna have such good food on that rocket ship to the moon.
I was just thinking for UKGE, I should try to bring over some Dutch sausage pasties and compare. Have like a layout with Greg's and then the different
Oh,
Dutch ones.
a sausage roll off? Definitely.
I don't know. Yeah, I've seen the lore about Greg's. Okay, that's cool. I bet you
We're
a lot of
doing
it.
it.
I bet you a lot of it's just nostalgia and not actually culinary.
Oh my god, no, I'm vegetarian, but the vegan sausage roll at Greg's whips. Like, I will defend that sausage roll. It's happening at UKG. Euphoria Airbnb is gonna be lit because we're gonna be filming reels of Ida doing taste tests of Greg's sausage
They're gonna be
rolls. Can't wait.
blindfolded. Well,
Yeah,
like
blindfold taste test.
which tastes better?
Yeah.
No, we need a neutral party that isn't English or from the UK or from the Netherlands because nostalgia will taint it.
All right, who's volunteering as tribute? Chat, who's gonna be at UKGE and can be our impartial judge of sausage rolls?
We have vegetarian Society brooches. We have vegetarian frikandel brooches. We have vegetarian Brabantse Society brooches.
I love it. Cash is a volunteer, Liz is a volunteer. All right, we're gonna have some kind of
Sausage roll off.
sausage blind taste test. It's happening. We're making that happen somehow. Let's go.
I'm thinking logistics. Yeah, it's an hour flight.
They'll
Yeah, they'll be fine.
be fine.
They'll
They'll be fine. Planes are quite cold.
They'll be fine.
Yeah.
Wow. We've gone full circle. We've gone from yes, TTRP girls to sausage fest.
We've come from girls to sausages. I think that's it. We've peaked.
We've peaked. This is what it's like when women.
I love when women.
We're going to women. We're going to women and femme and POC and not US so hard this month. Thank you everyone for being just as excited about it as we are. Thank you for being part of our community. Thank you for validating, for supporting, for being on board. For those that do have a couple of extra cents in the couch cushions, thank you for sharing those with us. Thank you in the future for everything else we're going to be part of. And there's plenty of room in that rocket.
Hell yeah. Thank you all of you for being you.
Oh my goodness, that's a nice sign off. I don't have anything else. You got anything else, Michelle?
No, that'll do it. Let's get in the rocket.
Okay, we're gonna have a rocket fuel in a bit. Where are you, friend? Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Michellecopter all over the internet, on Instagram, on Blue Sky, on Itch. I publish scenes now. I publish little TTRPGs. She's getting into game design, inspired by all the other amazing, genuinely, not saying this for the bit, inspired by seeing all these amazing girls and femmes and women making TTRPGs when we've been putting together this month. I was like, I can do it too. So I have been. So yeah, find me at Michellecopter on your social medias of choice.
Yeah. And I have been Ida. You can find me on Blue Sky, I've been sick the past week and I've been traveling a bit, so I haven't been super active. This month I'm going to be active, mostly reposting everything. I'm one of the co-founders of EUphoria because we thought, Darcy and I thought that this community needed to exist and this community needed to be loud about why it needs to exist. And I'm glad all of you are being loud with me. Um, you can find me with Lissa's interview later at the end of this month. You can also find me at Roll Initiative Con in the Netherlands, and that's going to be the first weekend of April 5th and 6th April outside Nijmegen in Ewijk in the Netherlands. And I'm actually going to be hosting a panel, the same panel on 2 separate days. And it's going to be called Diversity in TTRPGs. I'm going to talk about why having diverse tables, diverse games, and diverse communities actually makes TTRPG better, makes your community better, and why it's a little bit disingenuous to say that, but we're in Europe. Shouldn't it be for Europeans? And you're kind of saying Europeans are white. Nuh-uh. I have proof of demographic numbers. I have census numbers to back myself up. Like, that's disingenuous. You're lying. And after each of those panels, I'm going to be hosting a little bit of icebreaker and sort of a network getting to know people, because ideally people that come visit those panels are going to be those curious about expanding their networks to women, femme, queer and LGBT plus, neurodivergent, POC. So I'll see you at Roll Initiative Con if you're in the Netherlands or you're going to be there that weekend.
Dang, maybe I should look at flights because that panel sounds lit. Definitely make your way to Rincon and check out that panel if you possibly can. That sounds like it's going to be so terrific.
It's going to be fun. And for anything else, please, if you can or aren't already, follow us on all the socials. They are linked down below. They are linked in the chat. We're going to post as much as we can. We're opening up new ones like Moonbeam, for example, and it's going to be all right. If you have the means, please check out our Patreon. We do have a couple of free posts up there. To whet the appetite. But if you have the means to support us that way, please do so. If you have Amazon Prime and you're not using that free subscribe you get per channel, you can toss it our way. You don't have to pay anything extra. And Bezos doesn't get extra pesos.
Keep those pesos from Bezos.
He has enough pesos.
He has plenty.
He has plenty. Time for women's.
Yeah.
All right. And I think that's going to be it. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great rest of your weekend. Have a great rest of your International Women's Day.
Yay!
Yes. Have a great night, and we'll see you around